'Tis the season when you want something warm, hearty, and comforting for dinner. My braised beef is gonna do the trick. I'm gonna show you how to make it. I'm starting with about a 3 to 3.5 pound chuck roast, and I'm gonna cut it into 3 to 4 inch chunks. I like to cut it into smaller pieces to do the browning, so there's a lot more chances for every surface to get that good, crusty, seared. Pretty much one big chunk per person, I would say. It's gonna end up falling apart, but it's good to start this way. I love using a chuck roast because it's gonna be super moist and tender and can endure the long cooking time. You can see all this beautiful marbling throughout. That's gonna kind of melt into the beef. I can already taste it. The first step is to get a good sear on the beef, and we're gonna do that by first seasoning it pretty well. You want a nice even layer of salt, pepper, and I'm doing garlic powder just because it's kind of like instead of flour, kind of helps you get that crust. Rotate them around, make sure you kind of season all the sides. I'd say this dish is really like where beef bourguignon meets pot roast, somewhere in the middle. All the seasoning that has fallen to the cutting board, you can use your last side of your beef to kind of act as a magnet to scoop all that up. Don't let it go to waste. Braising is just technically 2 steps. The first one is to sear, and the next is to add your liquid. You want to get your pan nice and hot. If your pan is not big enough, you want to do this in stages because the key here is to get that good crusty sear. That's what you want to hear. This step you cannot rush. It's going to take longer than you think, but you want a good deep crust on your meat. You'll know it's ready to flip when it kind of naturally releases from the bottom. You just want to try to get that on all sides as much as possible. Crusty brown. Now for step 2. The drippings that are left in the pan, liquid gold. I'm gonna add in a little butter to that for flavor and saute my veggies. You can do this dish as a meat only, but I like to go ahead and add some veggies because that just counts as part of my salad flavor. The acid from these veggies is also gonna lift up some of that flavor off the bottom. I love mushrooms in this dish because they soak up so much of that flavor. So it's just like an extra treat. All of this stuff is gonna really cook down, so it might look a little full now, but it will be just perfect. Carrots. All right, seasoning the veggies with a little salt and pepper. I'm adding in a whole head of garlic, just cut in half. And now time for the braising liquid. First, you're gonna deglaze. I'm using some red wine to add to this braise. A good bit, probably about a cup. And that's gonna lift up any remaining bits on the bottom. Scrape that off. Make sure you get it all. I'm adding a couple sprigs of thyme, that's optional, and a couple bay leaves, that's traditional. And I'm gonna nestle my beef back in amongst the veggies, and then add any juices that have accumulated in the plate. A couple dashes of Worcestershire. Then you're just gonna add enough broth to come up about 1/2 to 2/3 of the way up on the meat. That's what's considered technically a braise. None of the pieces are submerged in the liquid. You want it to come to a simmer before you put it into the oven so that it can kind of maintain that same temperature once you put it in. So I'm gonna cover it and place it in an oven about 350 degrees for about 2 hours or until it just falls apart. I hope you can handle this beauty. Pretty sure the knife is just for looks. Melt in your mouth. You can see our searing really paid off. It still has that nice, rich brown color, but the inside is juicy, tender, literally melts in your mouth. It is so incredibly savory. This is one of the best things I have made in a long time. Simple, classic. If you're looking for the perfect comfort food that's also worthy of company, give this braised beef recipe a try, and when you do, don't forget to tag me. See you next time. And cheers.